So repurposing is an interesting topic because it's something that takes a fair amount of time. And in my personal opinion, what I think is when you're first starting out, that you are so much better off to actually master one particular platform before you move on to any type of repurposing, because this whole thing is such a huge learning experience and you're trying to learn so many different pieces. Not only are you trying to learn everything, but you're also trying to learn the platform. If you're anything like me anyways. So let me back up. So when I first started, I did not do social media. I had a Facebook, but I hadn't posted on it in years. I had signed up for TikTok, and I'm not even quite sure why I signed up for TikTok, but I did. I'm sure with that whole group that signed up because you were bored during COVID, so I signed up for TikTok.
That'll do it.
So you're trying to learn all these different social medias, and being a browser of a social media is so much different than being a content creator of social media, that even if you're familiar with that particular platform, you still need time to wrap your head around how to do all of this. So I would highly suggest really concentrating on mastering one first. Once one of them is mastered, then yes, repurposing and spreading yourself out, the first thing you want to do is create yourself an omnipresence. And by omnipresence, like anywhere that your people are, then you want to be in that space as well. If you start out on TikTok, which I would suggest starting out on TikTok, it is probably the most forgiving platform out of all of them to start creating content and making your mistakes, because you're going to make them when you first do it. And TikTok doesn't really care what happened previously. All they want to know is, how is this video doing? And should I push it out to more people? So it's very forgiving in that kind of way. And so starting there and making your mistakes or figuring out how to structure your content, there is a particular structure to your content that you need to kind of master so that you can figure out how to get the content seen and seen longer and longer, and paying attention to your analytics and all that kind of good stuff. So I would highly suggest one. So now that you have that one platform mastered, how do you repurpose your content? There's a couple different ways, and I'm going to talk about free ways and actually paid ways so that you have an option of whichever works for you. If you're talking about a free way, the only way that has ever worked for me has been a site called Snaptick. And I know that there's others out there, and I have tried others out there, but this one worked the best for me. And it's snaptick.app. And I think Jeanette uses it on her phone. I personally use it on my computer. And the one thing that you cannot use Snaptick as, though, is an app, even though it says Snaptick app. You can't use it as an app because it costs you money. But if you use it as on a browser, then it's free. So even if you're on your phone, if you use it in your browser, you have to use it in like your Safari or whatever.
Yeah.
If you have an
Google
Android, you use
Chrome
it on.
or
Yeah.
yeah.
So Snaptick has worked for me. And so basically what you do is you take the URL, or you copy the link to your TikTok and put it into Snaptick, and it removes all the watermarks and stuff like that. So the watermark is that little piece that says TikTok on it. And a golden rule is to never put a video on another platform with a watermark on it. Most other platforms will actually not push your video out if it has that watermark on it. So you want to make sure you take that watermark off before you put it anywhere. And that means if you're taking it from Instagram and putting it someplace else, you also want to make sure that you take it without the watermark. And I never take anything out of Facebook, but I'm pretty sure, Jeanette, you said that doesn't come with a watermark, right?
If you make the reel, there is no watermark.
But if you're coming from TikTok, then make sure that you take the watermark off first, and you can do that through Snaptick. So that is one option. The other option, on as far as free is concerned, you can also come out of TikTok and create your videos in an app which is on your phone, and it's called CapCut. And there is also a browser version of it if you wanted to do it on your computer. But CapCut on your phone has a pretty good editor. And actually, if you are on TikTok at all, you'll see a lot of people are using CapCut these days. And it's a pretty good editor. I've made a couple in there, and it is certainly something that you can use. And the one thing that's great about that is once you're in CapCut and your video is all done and you've put all the fancy stuff on it and everything, you can push it right to TikTok, and it goes and gets put into TikTok into your drafts, and you just need to go post it. It's all done. You can just go and finish it off and push it out in TikTok. You can also push it out to, I believe, Instagram and Facebook, but there's a catch with Facebook. If you are using your personal profile in Facebook, the program Facebook does not allow any third-party apps to speak to a personal profile on a reel. So it means that you cannot push any reels automatically, no matter what app you're using, to Facebook. So if you are using your personal profile, that will always be a manual. You always have to push it manually to Facebook, no matter what app you're using. So if you're using CapCut, you're going to have to load it from your phone up into your personal profile Facebook Reels. If you post it through from your CapCut into Facebook, it's going to post it into your feed, which is different than your Reels. Your feed is to your profile, and it never goes to your Reels. And you get a much better reach in Reels than you do in your feed. Reels is Facebook's answer to TikTok.
Yep.
So you always want to post those inside your Reels and not in your Facebook feed. So if anybody has any questions about that, please drop it in the comments. I'm happy to answer about it because I know that it can be confusing.
Yeah, and all the apps, just like a little side note, all the apps are like competing with each other. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and the list goes on, but those are the basics. And because TikTok became so popular during COVID, like when we were all trapped in our houses, now Facebook has developed Facebook Reels. Instagram now has Reels. Is that what they call them? It's the same thing. It's Facebook.
Yep.
YouTube now has YouTube Shorts. Pinterest now has idea pins, which can be like short form content. So everybody is now competing with TikTok and trying to make their own thing. But in the past, I would say few months, Facebook Reels have been getting a lot of reach, where a lot of videos have done way better on Facebook Reels than any other social media platforms. Even though you would have to do that manually, you should, because the Reels are really getting a lot of push on them.
And most of my Reels, actually, most of my videos do much better on Facebook than they do on TikTok. So I have much better luck on Facebook. I personally don't spend a whole lot of time on Instagram, so I can't really speak to that. I do post my things out there, but I honestly don't spend a whole lot of time there.
Yeah, even though Instagram's owned by Facebook, it's a different animal. Like there's so many different like rules in Instagram.
Yeah.
That I just post stuff there, but I don't really focus on that app.
Yeah, me either, but I'm the same. So for sure. So the other option, it is a paid option, but it's actually the option that I personally use this one, and Repurpose IO. And there's two payment options, which I'll get to, but Repurpose IO is connected to your TikTok. So it automatically pulls your TikTok out. You don't have to do anything. It automatically takes the TikTok out and saves it wherever you tell it to save it. So you can set up and this is the reason why I don't go into Instagram, because I have my Repurpose IO automatically pushing it into Instagram. Again, this does not work going into a personal profile in Facebook, because Facebook doesn't allow that. My answer to that is I actually have my videos put into a Google Drive, and I would highly suggest doing that anyway, because all of these apps are, at any time you can get your account shut down. And if you are saving your videos to a drive someplace, I happen to save mine to Google Drive. If you have a different place you save yours, then that's up to you. But it means that every single one of my videos is saved. If something happens to my account, I have all the videos I've ever made saved in one place. I have them all because it automatically does it. I don't have to do anything to it. And Repurpose IO is relatively new, but it has worked. It has made a night and day difference in my business, and it automatically pushes out to Instagram and YouTube. So that's what I have it doing right now. And then I just grab it out of my Google Drive and post it up to my Facebook. It does, and it pulls off the watermark for you, so you don't have to do anything else. So you basically end up with a clean video once it's done.